Hi there, we've got a 25-minute lower body workout today. You'll need to set your timers to 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest, and grab one heavy dumbbell. We have a buy-in for our first 45 seconds to a minute. You're going to do lateral side steps. Stay low in a squat position with your hips back and down, chest lifted, and knees behind the toes. Step laterally to one side, and then the same number of steps back to the other side. I do this for 45 seconds to a minute and give yourself 30 to 60 seconds rest. Now we'll start our circuit. We have 10 moves. We'll do each for 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest, and we'll repeat that 2 times. The first one is a lateral lunge. So you're sitting sideways into a squat on one leg while the other leg is straight for balance. Hips go back and down, knees behind the toes, chest lifted, and abs braced. You can do whatever you want with the extra arm. I tend to bring mine forward, and sometimes I extend it back behind. You're going to do 45 seconds on one side, 15-second rest, then 45 seconds on the other side. You'll find we have a mix of both unilateral and bilateral exercises today, moving both laterally and forward and back. Lots of different angles on the legs today. Move number 3 will be a hip bridge. On the floor on your backs, bring your heels towards your glutes. The dumbbell should be on your hips, and you're squeezing your glutes, lifting the hips up towards the ceiling. You should also feel engagement through the hamstrings and the lower back. And if you want, you can actively pull those heels towards your glute to activate those hamstrings even more. Hold for a half of a second in the extended position, and then bring it back down to the floor quickly, right back up for another rep. 3 exercises in, here's exercise number 4, staggered or single leg deadlift. Your feet should start hip width apart, and you're going to shift your body weight primarily into one leg. The other leg, the toe is going to kickstand behind you. If you feel really strong in that position, then you can lift that back leg on the other side, imagining yourself like a teeter-totter. As your chest goes down, your leg lifts up. Don't go any farther than parallel to the floor. Once you finish 45 seconds on one side, you'll rest for 15 and repeat on the other side. Keep your back nice and flat and make sure the hinge is happening primarily at the hip. You should have a slight bend in the knee, and it should stay pretty well fixed the whole time, whereas your hinge at your hip is what adjusts. Move number 6 is back on the floor. Trust me, I did it strategically to have to go down and up a couple of times because that burns calories too. Here we have a clamshell. So you're on one side with the elbow underneath the shoulder and resting on the bottom knee. And then as you lift the hips up, open up the top leg as well. You should feel the contraction on the whole bottom side from oblique all the way down to the hip and glute. Make sure to not sink into your shoulder. Try to keep space between your neck and your shoulder. And as you extend and open, squeeze all angles of your glutes as best you can. 45 seconds on one side, followed by 15 seconds of rest, and 45 on the other side. All right, heading into our last 3 moves. Grab the dumbbell on one side, and you're going to step back into a reverse lunge with that same leg. Feet start hip width apart, and your knee can come as low to the floor as you want. Just try to be sure you're tapping it lightly. Keep your chest up nice and tall and try not to lean forward too much. And that dumbbell, if it's too easy in the suitcase position, you could always bring it up to the shoulder to engage the core a little bit more. Once again, 45 seconds on one side, followed by 15 seconds of rest, and then 45 the other side. Last 15 seconds rest, and then we're heading into our 10th and final move of the circuit, which is a goblet sumo squat pulse. So the dumbbell comes up towards your chin or your collarbone, holding it lengthwise close to your body. Feet are wider than hip width apart with toes facing out at 11 and 1. Set your hips back and pulse once before you come back up to stand. Once you complete 45 seconds of this, I would rest for 1 full minute and then repeat the circuit once again. Once you've gone through the circuit twice, you're going to buy out the same way you bought in with 1 minute of lateral steps. Again, making sure you're maintaining that squat position throughout, hips back and down, knees behind the toes, Abs are braced so that the chest can remain nice and tall. Excellent job on the workout today. Be sure to stretch and let me know if you have any questions.